Muhammad Umar Farooq Biological Video. Please make sure to subscribe, like and share. Ask the question for answer and comment about the artwork. You can also answer question to each other for solving the problem. So here today we will discuss about the cell of the immune system. We will also understand the innate immune system and adaptive immune system. I have already made the video uh, about the cell classification, but here we will also understand their function and their cell proliferation from the stem cell. So let's talk about here. So the immune cell play a role in defense against the pathogen like bacteria, virus or other toxins. An immune cell development in the bone marrow, so in the form of pluripotent hematopoietic stem cell. So the pluri mean the multiple and potent mean the potential, while the hemo mean the blood and poietic mean the creative, and stem cell mean the stem cell which that is able to proliferate and become a new cell generation by the stem cell. So the stem cell is the important character is that those stem cell which that is the original stem cell which that is also proliferate, while it is also divide to again produce stem cell same which that is the original stem cell, while in if the after the differentiation from the stem cell is irreversible to back into the stem cell. So that means the G0 phase during the cell growth and cell cycle. So here is the bone marrow. This bone marrow contain basically stem cell. This stem cell is look like this. So this is the stem cell which that is differentiate as well as cell divide to produce again stem cell by cell division, so that during the mitosis that produce the stem cell again. So it means the maintenance of the stem cell inside of the bone marrow will remain constant, while the differentiation inducer stem cell will produce the pluripotent stem cell which differentiate into the myeloid stem cell into the bone marrow, and lymphoid stem cell which that is the part of lymphatic system. So that is here is the myeloid stem cell and lymphoid stem cell. So this myeloid stem cell is differentiate further into the megakaryocyte and reticulocyte. So the megakaryocyte means the large nucleus and produce the platelets. Platelets used for the contain fibrinogen and used for the blood clotting, while the reticulocyte which that is produced the reticulocyte which that is produced reticulocyte is have a nucleus but net like nucleus which that is appear in the red blood cell. So that is the precursor of red blood cell and produce red blood cell. So the red blood cell is used for the oxygen trapping and oxygen transporter, used as a oxygen transporter which contain a hemoglobin, which that is the protein is known as the hemoglobin, and hemoglobin containing anucleated cell is known as the red blood cell. While here is the lymphoid stem cell is the lymphatic system creation, and then lymphoid stem cell is the precursor of B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. So the T lymphocyte differentiate into further in the T helper cell CD4 and CD8, cytotoxic T cell and cytotoxic T cell and cell mediated T cell, which they are used for the cytotoxic intercellular and intracellular response in the form of adaptive immune system, while the innate immune system is the another cell which that we will also discuss about in this video. So that here is the compact bone, that cartilaginous bone and where joint occur, while inside the bone marrow, and that is made up of osteocyte, but inside is the stem cell which that is the precursor of different type of blood cell, which that is also made up of immune cell as well as blood cell other and plasma production. So that is here is the myeloid stem cell which that is differentiate from the pluripotent stem cell, And this myeloid stem cell is made up of megakaryocyte, a large nucleus, while the megakaryocyte we had also already understood about that. But reticulocyte is a net-like cell which that's immature red blood cell contain reticulum and net-like, so that is basically produce red blood cell, and 1% carry red blood cell are present throughout the blood, while they carry oxygen from lung and transport to the tissue for cellular aerobic respiration for the Krebs cycle. So important thing is oxygen used for the Krebs cycle to use cellular respiration to produce energy. Without oxygen, anaerobic respiration produce lactic acid and inefficient produce energy, and it is unable to survive in for a human being or mammals or vertebrate. Uh, while here is the we will discuss about the classification, and the myeloid stem cell is also produce the myeloblast. So the myeloblast is the bone marrow, present in the bone marrow, and immature myelo mean the bone marrow, and immature blast mean immature cell, which that is the precursor of monocyte. Here is the monocyte, and here is the eosinophil, which that is a red color, and cytoplasmic granules, which that is present and wait in the tissue. So it is important to know that, and we will also understood about that. And here is the blood vessel. This blood vessel contain a monocyte, which that is after the differentiation from the myeloblast to produce monocyte, which that is circulating into the blood vessel, and during the chemokine production from the tissue, which that's go reside into the tissue and proliferate into and differentiate into the macrophage. So monocyte is the precursor of macrophage. So the macrophage is a part of innate immune system during the birth, and the phagocytosis, it is the important thing is the phagocytosis, and recognize the pathogen by the toll-like receptor and give the chemical chemokine produce, cytokine produce to attract more granulocyte, and digest by enzyme and inflammatory mediators produce, and cytokine produce to create the inflammation. So this cytokine is attract the other neutrophil as well as B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte, is that is the part of adaptive immune system. So here is the neutrophil. Neutrophil is the neutral attraction, so that means the general attack cell. So that means the basically it is the cytokine which that is produced from the macrophage is attract toward the inflammation side, and that's neutrophil is basically also known as the polymorphonuclear cell, as because it is a different type of nucleus, is the lobe like three lobe is present. So that is important. Eosinophil is the red color cytoplasmic granule, which that is waiting in the tissue, and it is the give the response parasitic infection when parasite reside on the blood or tissue, which that basically degranulation. Basically it's produce the cytokines as well as basically cytokines to toxic chemical basic protein and granules, which that is pro-inflammatory cytokines, and that is the also produce cytokine, which that is positive effect of the eosinophil and attract to more eosinophil to produce more cytokines, as well as the parasitic infection is also stimulated. So that means that is the eosinophil or red color cytoplasmic granules, so that reside in the tissue. Anyhow, next we will discuss also the differentiation from the myeloblast into the mast cell as well as the basophil. So first of all, I want to say that this is the all part of the innate immune system, which that is also known as the general immune system, and created during birth And barrier immunity also innate. For example, the barrier immunity skin and the epithelial cell in the lungs and gastrointestinal tract, and that is the first line of defense. It is also produced the myeloblast in differentiate into the mast cell as well as basophil. So the mast cell important contain cytoplasmic granules and fix in the tissue. And mastocyte is the histamine, heparin, and uh, basically neuroimmune system contain it, and that is the anticoagulation and inflammatory response produced, as well as contains basophil is also contains cytokines as well as circulate into the blood and prevent blood clotting. And heparin, it is also responsible by the allergic reaction and used by the allergen. So here is the adaptive immune system. It is adaptive immune system is the classification by exposure of new antigen. When new antigen enter in our body, so the according to this antigen, adaptive immune response will be occur, and long term immunity creation. So the long term defense strategy for next infection by same pathogen, and activation by the innate immune response. So here is the pluripotent stem cell, which that is proliferate into the lymphoblast, that is the immature cell present in bone marrow, and that is the precursor. So this is the T cell proliferate into the T cell and B cell. So the T cell is the basically producer. T cell is the differentiate into further, but here is the B cell is the produce the two type of cell, plasma cell and B memory cell. So it is contain immunoglobulin containing antibodies. So it is also contain receptor MSC2 receptor, which they are used for the T cell activation. So important thing is that immunoglobulin is used for the antigen against the antigen, and coated by this immunoglobulin, that is the antibody, different type of antibody. So we will discuss also, but here the T cell differentiate further into the CD4 cell, T helper cell, and CD8 cell or cytotoxic T cell, which contain a T cell receptor and CD4 receptor as well as CD28 and CD80. So that means here is the dendritic cell, which that is recognize the pathogen and to give the response by the binding of the CD4 antigen, and that is the basically cell mediated response and intercellular response, that is intercellular response. And it is also stimulate the the CD8 CD8 cytotoxic T cell. So that's cytotoxic T cell is used for the intercellular response, intracellular response. It means the cancer cell is death by the recognition by the CD28, CD80, and CD8 receptor to MSC class 1 molecule, which that attached and produce the perforin and granzyme, which that kill the cancer cell, and it means the kill by cytotoxic, and T cell which that is create the cell lysis, and that is damaged cell will be breakdown or degenerate. So that is known as apoptosis. So I hope you make sense about that adaptive immune system. So here is the B cell. When the recognition by the dendritic cell is the part of adaptive immune cell, which that is also present in the skin, is known as Langerhans cell. So after the recognition of the antigen, it is also recognized by the B cell. So the MSC class 2 is bind with the T helper cell, which that proliferate from the CD4 cell, and that means the T cell receptor are present, and here is the antigen is also recognized by the B cell. And after the recognition of the antigen, for example, here is the pathogen and this is the antigen. After the recognition to proliferate into the plasma cell, and plasma cell quick produce the fast produce of the antibody or immunoglobulin to quick response, while here is the B memory cell. So the B memory cell used for the further infection to quick response. So here is the coating of the antigen by the plasma cell produce the immunoglobulin, and that means that is the enzyme used to opsonin is used and complement system used to kill that pathogen and engulfed by the neutrophil as well as macrophage. So that is the strategy to understand basically the concept of the adaptive immune system. So that means here is the another cell is also proliferate from the T cell is known as the natural killer cell. So this natural killer cell is after the macrophage produce cytokines to activate the natural killer cell, and this natural killer cell is directly in fact and response inflammatory response to uh, death of the cell and apoptosis from the damaged tissue. So that means it is also known as natural killer cell because it is killed naturally, not depend to another mechanism. So after the cytokine produce to quick response and cell death. So that is the basically process to understand about the natural killer cell. So I hope you make sense about that concept about the innate immune system and adaptive immune system. So thanks for watching.